This episode is sponsored by Revel Woods. Revel Woods is your source for premium hardwood and resilient flooring. Using the Revel Woods Selector tool, you will be able to find curated suggestions for each specific project based on criteria such as style, color, zip code, and usage. Because the species of wood that performs in a laundry room in Key West is not going to be the same as the wood that will perform in a living room in Chicago. And how do you know that? Well, Revel Woods helps you. Know before you specify. And when you sign up for a free professional membership, you'll get access to exclusive discounts and referral benefits. Visit revelwoods.com to get started. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. You know, I'm always impressed when a guest comes on the show to talk about their interior design career, but previous to that, they've had a completely different career. Like, it's crazy, some of the things that I have learned that you guys have done. I'm thinking about Darla Powell, the head honcho, grand poobah over there at Wingnut Social, and she was a Miami-Dade police sergeant. Like, think about this stuff, right? So if you've been listening for a long time, you know we've had a lot of these conversations. My guest today has not had one, but two very cool, very different careers before turning to interior design. Hema Persad started professionally as an attorney. Okay, she was an attorney. Then she followed her passion for fashion and became a celebrity stylist, and not a garden variety celebrity stylist. Two of her past clients were Madonna and Kate Hudson, to just name a couple of them, right? So how do we get from these careers to 2022 and Hema starting Sagrada Studio? Well, I'm going to let her tell you the story, but keep an ear out for valuable tips about switching careers, about if you're interested in hiring a PR person, you know, how do you do it? What do you ask? And how much should you spend on marketing? You know, these are all the nuggets coming out of the show. Since beginning her design career, Hema has acquired quite the accolades under her belt. She has print placements in Architectural Digest, Rue Magazine, and Real Simple. And Hema will also be included in AD's New American Voices list coming out this July 2024. Want to hear how? Let's get to the show. Hello, Hema. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, you know, Hema, I have to say, I am super excited for this, and you don't even know why. I'm excited because, you know, we all know that you guys fill out a form, tell me about what you want to talk to me and my listeners about. And you have so much good things in your intake form that is interesting. But I learned the most interesting thing in our pre-air chat. Hema.
Yes.
You have 10 years experience as an attorney,
Yes.
7 years experience as a celebrity stylist, and now you're an interior designer.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not ask you off air, but I need to know this story, please. Would you just make this make sense for us?
I will. It's wild. And also I wish if there's anyone else out there who has that combination, please call me because I've never met anybody else with that. Like, I need a friend who understands. Exactly. But anyway, I graduated law school at age 25 very early. I was a box checker. I was like, you know, I am going to be a lawyer, dun, 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 here goes my career. And then a few years in, I was like, oh, this really sucks. But, you know, you like the money, you know, I had a fancy car, cute house, cute kids, like the whole thing. My life was looking really good on paper. And then as you know, get further in your career, I sort of started to look around, and partner was approaching, like, do you want to be partner? And I'm like, who can I emulate? Literally no one. Everyone around me was miserable. I didn't like what I was doing. I was a lending attorney, and in 2008 I was representing very large financial institutions as they took away people's properties. It was miserable. At the
Yikes.
time, I'm like 28, 29 years old. I had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. Um,
Mm.
life was not like my life was not. I would drive up to my building and feel sick. Not at all. Like it was stressful, and like I was like, what am I doing? Like, just ruining lives
Yeah.
every day on behalf of some big bank.
Oh,
Anyway, my husband was
oh.
like, please, dear God, just like be happy. What is it you want to do? And I was like, well, I don't really know. I think I would want to try fashion. He's like, I don't know what that means. Like, what is fashion? What do you mean? What are the jobs?
Right. What
What
is
is
that?
that?
Like,
And I didn't know. I was like, what are the jobs? I have no idea. So I did some research. Rachel Zoe Project was on TV. I reached out to some people in LA, like via email, just like, hey, what's your job? And I was like, I think I could be a stylist. But at the time we were living in Florida, there's no career there for that. So, I quickly deduced like we either had to move to New York or LA. I wasn't going to start over. I mean, you got to go where the work is if you want to do the work.
I'm just thinking I'm your husband. Wait, we went from fashion to we're uprooting.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the job is,
Yeah.
but we know we have to move to New York or LA with our 2 little kids.
Yes.
Oh,
God
good,
bless
good.
him.
Hey,
We're still
thanks so much
married.
for that.
We're coming up on 18 years next month. Like, he's still here,
Wow.
So like
And what was his career, or is his
yeah.
career, that he was able to be
So
flexible?
he still works in the wine and spirits industry. Right now he works for LVMH. And so
Oh,
California was a good move in a lot of ways. Like, I wasn't going to go to New York and start over at
okay.
$0 with my 2 little kids. Like, that's a hard life, right? So my sister was already living
Yes.
here in LA. I came out to visit her. That visit sealed the deal. I loved it here. I could see us having a family here. It's just a nice place to raise a family if you can make it work. Lots of
Yeah.
choices for the
Sunshine
kids.
every day.
Sunshine.
What's wrong with that?
We've got the museums, we've got the culture, we've got lots of. I could see my kids growing up in a place where there are lots of jobs that exist here that don't exist
Yeah.
in other places. So it was a good move. You're going to laugh at this. So I tell my husband this master plan I have. I'm like, we're going to sell the house. We're going to move to LA. You're going to get a job in wine and spirits, and then I'm going to start interning. And he's like, okay, girl, sounds good. And so the cleaning lady comes and the house is clean. I'm like, I think I should just put the house on Zillow. And mind you, this is 2014-ish. So the market had not yet rebounded, right? To 2013, like homes were not
Okay.
selling quickly. I took pictures of my house on my own camera, put it on Zillow, and got an offer for full asking price the next day. This couple came and handed me a check to put it in escrow, that house. And I was like, shit, we have to move, So
We sold
we
the
sold the
house.
house. Like, this is
Hi, honey.
happening.
How was your
Yeah.
day? Oh,
Yeah.
good. I sold
Sold
the
the house.
house.
And my husband was like, what? I mean, I think I forgot the sequence of things. It was 10 years now, but he did end up finding
Yeah.
a job. Long story short, my sister found our apartment. We moved in 30 days. I told my boss that Monday, and he's like, I need you to work remotely. Nobody ever worked remotely at our firm, but he was like, I was working on this project, and he's like, I just need you to work remotely. I didn't tell him why I was really going to LA. I was like, my husband got a job, like, whatever. So
You didn't say, because you're sucking the
yeah,
life out of me here at this job.
which he did.
My
Listen,
husband, on the other hand,
exactly,
needs to move, but
exactly.
I just have to go with him.
Exactly. That's literally what I said. And so they let me work
Yeah.
remotely. And so the transition wasn't bad. I spent 8 months working remotely and then interning with celebrity stylists in the afternoons, because the time difference helped. I would work super early on
Yeah.
East
Yeah. Yeah.
Coast and then kind of go intern in the
Yeah.
afternoons or whatever. And that's how I got my start in celebrity styling, is just by assisting other stylists this way.
And when you say interning with them, you were offering your
For free.
services for
Yeah.
free in exchange for
Yeah.
learning and so forth,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. See, and I just want to stop there for a minute. Not that it's like, it is, I was going to say, not that it's germane to a well-designed business, but it is, because, there's so, like, I love, and I am all about being the advocate for the industry, the design industry, to charge what they should be charging. I do the same thing exciting windows when we coach and window treatment professionals to charge the margins that they need to make their business. But there are always times and places where you know what you're doing is for your own experience, it's for the networking, it's for the opportunity that will come. And I feel like, Hema, you tell me what your observation in the industry is that it seems to me there is a huge swath of interior designers that don't understand that decision-making property of this has value for me in these 5 ways, so I will do this, or this is just this particular situation taking advantage of me, and I'm only caving because I don't have the words to stand up for myself, or I don't have the like the chops. I don't have the experience to demand what I'm asking for. But I think about Mikkel Welch.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Mikkel Welch. He just got nominated for an Emmy. He sat on this podcast 7 years ago and told me how he used to do projects for free from Craigslist in exchange for getting them photographed. Like there are times and places to be strategic.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, I built your celebrity business, the stylist business, as opposed to the design business. But that was like going to school, right? It's like going to get an MBA in celebrity styling.
Yes, that's exactly how I thought about it at the time. Having been through law school and all of that, I was already familiar with this idea of like being poor to learn something that is going to like help you.
Say, right? You're paying to be poor to learn something,
I'm
right?
still paying those loans, by the way.
Oh God.
Yes, I think I haven't been in the interior design industry long enough, but I do have, made a lot of friends, and I do know a lot of people, lovely people, but I think sometimes people let their egos get in the way of like their own progress. It's like, sometimes you do have to take a step back. And in order to learn something or to get in a certain circle, like I was new in town when I was a stylist. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have connections. I never worked in fashion before. So who was going to hire me? I literally made a resume that was like, has a law degree and a car. I'm smart. I can do stuff. Like that's what it was. And
all you have to do is add to it. I'm gritty. I'll get it done. I'm scrappy.
Listen, I was the 30-year-old intern, LuAnn. I had 2 kids and a mortgage and like a full-on life. And here I was alongside all these like 22-year-olds, and I had to like check my ego. I remember one time I was instructed on how to properly tape a box. And I was just like, instead of me having an attitude about it, I was just like, fascinating. Okay. I will do that.
Thank you so much for that input.
I mean,
I didn't know that we put the tape on
that's
this way. I thought it went the other way.
I swear to God, when had I ever done that? She was actually like helping me, but whatever. Anyway, I sat there and I was like, cool, great, and then that turned into paid gigs and, and bigger jobs. Like I've worked with everyone from Madonna to Kate Hudson. I was at the 2019 Globes with Andy Samberg. Like that career, I really did it. I did it and realized pretty quickly and like how toxic that industry is. But I was like, whatever, I'm here. I made this move. I did it. I'm never going to make the money I want to make, but like, I don't know what else to do. So I just kept doing it and kept growing and learning and whatever. But I already knew maybe 3-4 years in, like, I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. There's no way. This is not a scalable business, And then,
okay.
20.
At what point did you break it to your husband that you moved him all the way across the country and you weren't going to do it?
I mean, I think he knew. He was on his own career journey, but he was just
already.
like,
yeah, he's just like, I'm on the roller coaster with you, Hema. All right, wherever the next stop
every
is,
day.
don't worry about it.
I was like, you signed up for this, okay? Like you signed up for this.
You picked
me.
You picked me.
He knew, but I think at this point he was just like, well, she'll figure it out. One thing about my husband.
That's right. He also,
is that
he knows both sides of you. I know you a half hour and I know both sides of you. The part that's the dreamer and the part that will get it done. We're not going to just leave all the chips falling on the side and nobody's going to pick them up. Like I can see that about you. So that's funny. I mean, I'm making fun about it, but I can see that it's a truth.
It is the truth. He was just like, okay, well, figure out your next thing. I don't know. In the meantime, like we have children. So like, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, please don't be as capricious about them as you are where you work.
Exactly, right?
Like you like both of them still, right? Like you want them both.
That's exactly. And I would beat myself up more than anybody else. Like so it was, I really gave it, like, I tried everything, advertising, TV, like red carpet, all of it. And it was all the same. So the pandemic hits, I had a baby early 2020. Early 2020. That was our third baby. So that year was a wash.
Well,
Like nobody, what did we do in 2020? I don't even know. Nothing. Right. I even
we drank a lot of
we
wine
drank a lot of
and
wine.
did Zooms.
And exactly. And I knew that I didn't want to go back to styling. Nobody's going anywhere. So I wasn't really doing anything, but it's fine. I was with the baby and the kids were homeschooling, whatever. I even considered going back into law, you know, because I was like, at least that's the devil I know and I'll make a lot of money. So I interviewed
That's
with
right.
like
Sure thing.
fintech firms. I mean, I was like, maybe I could do this. And nobody hired me because I think they could be like, they could see I was not really interested. So then 2021 comes along.
How'd you like that one candidate? You mean the one who really
The one
doesn't
who
want a
really
job
doesn't
here?
want the
Yeah,
job.
she's fine.
Listen, you're going to be like, what an idiot. This one interviewer asked me, what does your typical day look like? And I said something dumb like, well, I hope I had time for a workout and like work-life balance. And this person was probably like, but do you want to work? Like, what do you mean? You know?
Well, I love it when my colleague brings me a latte to start the day.
Hope I had time for lunch. You know, maybe I got through my to-do list. They could tell. So that wasn't going to pan out. You know, it was just like the universe was like, girl, stop. Like, what are you doing? One HR recruiter after the interview process was like, I want to give you a book. And I'm like, okay, what's the book? And she's like, it's called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, which by the way, this book changed my life. And I tell everybody about it. The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. It's a phenomenal story. But the idea is you should not be pushing in any direction. What you need to do is be listening to your life at all times and then saying yes, like surrender. That is true surrender. It is listening and observing and then acting accordingly based on what people are asking of you, not what you think, but what people are asking of you. Like those are the clues. Those are the breadcrumbs. This book changed my life. So January 2021 came along. I'm like, I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to do nothing. And I'm just going to say yes. So February 2021, one of my styling clients was, you know, people were starting to go out again and do things. And so they were coming back. And she said, I got a new apartment. Can you help me decorate it? I think your house is really cute and you have good taste. And I was like, is this one of those surrender moments? Should I just say yes? Yeah. Because I did. I like decorating, but I'd never done it for anyone else. And so I said yes. And she was an influencer. So we worked with some brands to get some stuff and pictures went everywhere. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you do this? Do mine, do mine, do mine, do mine. And it went on like that for all of 2021. I would do a gig for someone's house, like decorate or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, that was fun. Okay, that'll never happen again. And it always happened again. So that by the end of
somebody else
would call and be like, hey, do this, or whatever. And it just kept happening. So by the end of 2021, I was like, I think this is a business now. So I told all my styling clients, like, hey guys, like I'm just really going to dive into interiors. Like I think I'm going to do this. I'm not going to style you anymore. December is our last thing together. And a lot of them were like, okay, well, can you help us with our house? And they were also supportive. And then, so 2022 is when Sagrada Studio was born. And I really like dove in and got PR and did the whole thing.
Wow. I love it. And you know, what's interesting is that you said something else to me off air that fits right in here, that you said about, tell the line about if I had come out at 25 doing this.
It's true. I get, you know, it seems like I came out of nowhere given the time frame of my interior design career growth in the past 2 years. But really, truly, it took me 15 years to know how to do all the things to grow a career. So if I had graduated design school at 25, I would not have learned, I may have had some technical chops, but I would not have learned all the things about entrepreneurship that really, and marketing. I didn't know about marketing. That really help you build and accelerate a business. It would have taken me 15 years to learn that.
Yeah. And that is, you know, we've seen that, and you mentioned to me that you listened to the show. If we've heard that over and over, like there is the valid. I graduate college with an interior design degree, and I make my way up. There's the valid, but we have had so many occasions where somebody like yourself is 2 or 3 years in business, AD, all the things, and you're just like, wait, what? But it is all of that stuff that goes into getting you
Yeah.
there. And I think for me, where I want to take the conversation now is that this sounds like these are probably all things that informed your decision to invest in PR
Mhm.
from the beginning. Right? Like you didn't say, well, I got to wait 5 or 6 years
No.
and maybe have a portfolio. This was one of the key things to growing your business big and fast, and your notoriety as a designer was the PR. Talk to us about
100%.
that decision and that result.
So
Yeah.
I knew from 7 years in fashion as a stylist the power of PR in building brands because I worked with PR people. That's how you get clothes. Like everybody, I think it's a mystery, but like when you're a stylist, you don't just get what you want. You have to go to the PR for the brand, tell them, pitch to them who you're working with, and ask them to borrow things. And then they then go and decide, well, is this a good placement for our brand? So I was on the other side, the pitching side of that for 7 years. And so that's
Interesting.
how I knew that in order to get my work in front of the right people, I needed somebody who had those connections. Listen, I see it all the time. I go to events, even like High Point where I was, this was just my first time, but even, LCDQ, all these things, like I've gone to them and I see that this is where a lot of designers think that they're going to make some kind of relationship with an editor and get their stuff published, but that is not how it works. Editors get thousands of pitches a day. If they don't know you, they are probably not going to look at it. I'm sorry to say. And like anybody who tells you
Mhm.
otherwise, I think they're just being nice because um, they publish based on, yeah, like you may get lucky and like you have a good project with a good story,
Yes, it's
whatever.
possible any, like Vinny always says, a blind
Blind
squirrel
squirrel,
finds a nut every
that's what
once in
it
a
is. It's a
while.
blind squirrel. You don't have strategy
Yeah.
there. You need someone in your corner who has
Mhm.
the relationships, who can get you in the rooms that you can't get yourself in and pitch you in a way that you can't even pitch yourself. I had no confidence as an interior designer. It took my PR person seeing something in me in the beginning and then
Mm.
taking my work and knowing where to place it, knowing where it belonged, not
Mm.
just being like blanket pitch to House Beautiful and AD and Domino and whatever. Like each of these magazines, much like fashion brands, has their own readership and audience. And so a lot of things have to align. I'm not doing that
Right,
work.
right, right,
I
right.
didn't know that landscape. So I knew right away, even when I couldn't afford PR, I had to afford PR. Like if because that's where I wanted my
Right.
career to go. Pictures and PR.
Well, yes. And the thing is that I what you brought to it and what I've heard in the last, 20 minutes of your story is you brought to it a a sensibility about
Mhm.
business to it. And so yes, you do have to figure out what you're doing as a designer and, all of that stuff, but that that cognitive awareness of that the people that it's funny because I get literally messages, text messages, DMs, emails, usually 2 to 3 months before High Point every year. Hey, if you have an opportunity to put me on a
Mhm.
panel, I just want to let but and it's people that know me. It's not like strangers. Stranger designers don't like say, "Can I be on your
Mhm.
panel?" But it's like the number of times that I've said that m- the number of panels that I've actually put together is the smaller
Mhm.
percentage. Now, when I have the chance, if a PR rep says, we want to do a panel in this, like usually it's the brand wants to do a
Right.
panel and maybe they'll decide on me as a moderator and then they'll say, what do you think is a topic? And then I'm in my heaven
Yeah.
because I like to have people on a panel that I've
Mhm.
interviewed. And what I say to everybody in private and in public is because now I know I can throw a fastball at you and you can hit it. Whereas anytime, and I've had many, many times where I really didn't know the people on the panel,
It's awkward.
and you guys know me. And I'm not interested in the fluff. I'm not interested in, hey, isn't this, I want to know the real
Yes.
things. And I also have no desire to make someone feel less than on a
Yeah.
panel. Like I say to every single person off air, I just said it to you. This is not investigative reporting. I am not interested in finding out what you don't want people to know. I want to know what you want people to know that you're proud of.
Yes.
And it's the same for a panel. But when I've interviewed you, I know
Right.
you. And I'm like, okay, throw her this fastball, throw him that fastball, throw him that curveball. We're good.
Yes.
But my point is I would say 80% of the panels that I've moderated, which is probably 80 panels in 10 years or 8 years or whatever, they are put together by PR
Yeah.
reps. And it's one PR rep puts all three of their clients on a
'Cause it's
panel.
their job.
Okay. Each with a different, exactly, on the same panel, though, each with a different point of view, but the same panel. Or it's one PR rep that calls their buddies, the other PR reps, and says, this is a topic. Do you have somebody that'll do that? And there's so many designers that walk around High Point going, I wish I could get picked to be on the PR panel and to be on a panel. Now, when I pick my own panelists, I pick based on your skill set. I pick based on the conversation that we've had. And that's why many people that have been on my panels don't have PR reps.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of your PR rep then, right? Aren't I?
But
isn't that the same process? You've made an inroad with me, and I know you, and I know your point of view, right?
It is about relationship building. The thing is, I learned from coming to LA and, starting from nothing and working my way up as a stylist. Like, I was like, oh, or I could spend the next 7 years doing this in interiors, or I could just pay someone who already knows how to do this. And, that's that was an efficiency decision on my part, because I could be spinning my wheels and trying to find time in my day to design and run my business and pitch people and make relationships. Like, I also have children and a family. And like, for me, everything is an efficiency consideration. And so it just felt very efficient, and still does. I'm still with the same PR person, but it's efficient. It's a team member who is dedicated to doing this one thing, this very important marketing piece, that it would take me forever to do. And I wouldn't even do it as well, because it's not my job.
Right. This episode is sponsored by My Doma Studio. My Doma Studio is your complete designer toolkit. My Doma makes it easy to streamline your processes, track projects, communicate with clients, and get everything organized. It's created by designers for designers, and it specifically addresses what you need as a business owner in this very complex industry. I've said countless times that systems and processes are how you reach the next level of profitability and peace of mind. My Doma Studio makes it easy to do that. You can get 20% off your first 3 months by going to mydomastudio.com/a well-designed business. It's funny because I've said it 1,000 times. It's kind of like when, over the years when I was running Window Works and designers would come to me and they would say, well, I can open my own accounts with the Draper Workrooms. I can open my own accounts with, Hunter Douglas and Hartman and Forbes and the different places. And I'm like, right. But then you need to learn how to measure and you need to learn how to place the orders and you need to find installers. And I'm like, you know how to paint a room too. And that's a heck of a lot easier than doing a window treatment. But are you painting the rooms for your clients just because you can? Like, where is your time better spent? To your point here, you were better equipped than most of us in potentially managing your own PR. And you understood like, okay, I got other things to do, and let me outsource this to somebody who wakes up every day and does it 5 days a week, right?
Yes. Like, and also in choosing this person, I was like, this person represents me the way that I would represent myself. I think that's another consideration that you have to have is like, is this person's out in the marketplace speaking on your behalf, right? So are they respectful or are they pushy? Are they likable? Like, I've had nothing but good feedback and like, we love Christina, blah, 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 like all of that was important to me. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, I have to do my actual job, and my actual job is not PR.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, I guess if I'm listening to this conversation, I'm a colleague of yours and I'm listening, I might think to myself, well, how did you vet PR firms? I understood that you ultimately picked Christina because she felt like a genuine human to you and that you had synergy and chemistry. But, I get that question a lot, like, which PR firm would you recommend? And I think to myself, that's like, which designer would you recommend? It's such a personal relationship. I can't just give a blunt recommendation without some discovery. But what did you do, Hema, in order to figure out who the reps were in the industry? And did you interview more than one? Like, how did you come to it for yourself?
No, Christina was the only one. I was looking, and I used Instagram, and I kept seeing some designers I follow getting good placements, like the type of placements that I wanted in the magazines that I wanted.
Mm,
And if you dig deep enough and go down the rabbit hole in Instagram, eventually somebody's going to tag their PR person. So I kept seeing
gotcha.
her get tagged. And then I dug deeper and went to her website, and I, looked at her body of experience. She used to be at Sunshine Sachs and all these firms that I knew from fashion. And it just felt like I reached out to her. She was super responsive. Our conversation was really good, and I liked sort of hearing her strategy for me. And it seemed like she just understood what I was trying to do. So I didn't interview anybody else. I
Okay.
was like, well, I like
Well,
you.
but yeah, but you know what? Like, it's funny because, we can put that little, pat answer on it. But what I wrote while you were talking was you started by going to
Yeah.
Instagram and seeing who the PR reps that were in the world that were repping the designers that you
Yeah.
emulated, whatever the
Yeah.
word is that you looked up to, that were getting the placements that you wanted to
Yeah.
get. That's one very important step you did. The second thing is you did the same thing with magazine placements. You looked to see who was the PR rep for that person. And listen, it's not always going to be in the magazine, right? Sometimes you have to go to the website of the designer that you see in the magazine, and then you say for inquiries, and you click
Yes.
on it, and it brings you to their PR
I
rep,
did all
right?
that.
So there's a little,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the third thing is that I heard that you did is once Christina kept bubbling up to the top, you researched
Yeah.
her. And what's interesting is what you said in there, the research you did revealed that she worked with and or for whatever it was, brands that you knew.
Yes.
You see, I could research her and mean nothing to me, but it's an alignment for
Yes.
you. And then fourth, I heard that when you were on the phone with her, you had good
We did.
chemistry. It just felt easy. And then 5 was simply you liked her. And so, you know what? I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Like you can say, well, I just liked her, but you did quite a few
I
steps
did.
to you
You're right.
decided that you liked her.
Listen, to me, it feels natural because LuAnn, I'm an ex-lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. We research, we look at things, we dig really deep. At one point, I was like basically a glorified debt collector, so it was my job to research people and where the hell they were. So this is like something, you say it that way. It's second nature to me to do that.
Exactly.
That's how I approach design
Exactly.
too, but it is just how I approach most decisions. It's like calculated.
Yes. Well, but see, that is the lesson right in there. And that is the lesson that the podcast has tried to impress upon everyone so often is when you think about your talent as a designer, it's second nature to you. It is what you do. But for the rest of us, we need to be taught how much goes into what you do as second nature so that we understand the value that you bring to us. And it's the same with this. I get it with second nature, but I heard 5 very specific things in there that you did before you said, hey, Christina.
That's fair.
So, and then yeah. No, I love it. And the thing about it is I don't really want to talk about what Christina's fees are. That's her private business.
That wasn't even a
This podcast is evergreen.
consideration of mine. It was never a consideration.
Right. I love that too, by the way, right? Like that's not one of the criteria.
It can't be because it's expensive. I don't care. Like if you have made the decision to spend on marketing in your business, you just have to close your eyes and jump off the cliff. Like literally, you just have to do it. And it is what it is.
It's an investment you have to make.
Yes. It's like going to school or whatever, like my stupid law school loans I'm still paying. Like, it's like you just do it. And it's just something you have to do if you've decided to do it.
I agree. And where I was going to go without disclosing the fees that you pay, because like I said, it's evergreen. 2 years from now, the fees aren't going to be appropriate anyway. And maybe she has different levels of service, but just what you just said is the enunciation of my question is you knew it was going to be an investment. You knew you had decided and you committed that you were doing this, but I wonder if there is a benchmark or if there is somebody who's like the worlds that you were in with celebrity styling, you probably had enough conversations to like I usually say to people, knowing almost nothing about it, figure 5 to 10K a month. Like, I have no idea. Like, but I know it's not 500 a month.
Yeah.
So what did you come into it and say, okay, I'm going to put a pot of 50K towards this, 10K toward this, 25, whatever it was. What was your process for, because you did have to have, just like clients say to us all the time, I don't have a budget. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
do.
kind of do.
Yeah.
Like you do. Right.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite thing clients say, and then I throw out some ridiculous number to see how squirmy they get,
Yes.
you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
great. So you want a $200,000
right.
sofa. Awesome. I've got
Mhm.
one on the shelf
I'll
for
be
you.
like, "How does
Right.
half
Oh,
a
wait,
million
no, no,
sound?"
no.
And then they react, Right.
Exactly.
Um, I think that 30% of your revenue should go to marketing. This is a number that I've also researched in various businesses, interior design, whatever. I've asked all my friends who have their own businesses in different arenas, even my husband who works for LVMH, like it's 30%. It's aggressive, but guess what? Like if
That's
it's
aggressive.
aggressive, but
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
somebody, and maybe it's different for people who are not a startup. I'm obviously still what you would consider a startup. My business is very
It's
young.
always different. Yep.
So at
Mhm.
this point, I am aggressive about marketing because I got to keep my pipeline full. I got to get my name out there. I got, my objectives
Mhm.
in year 0 to 5 of my business are different from year 5 to 10. So in year 0 to 5, I'm throwing everything I can, everything extra I can at marketing, and I will review it.
Mhm.
And so at the time I hired Christina, that was like probably my biggest marketing expense 2 years ago, was that
Right.
every month amount, I
Okay.
was paying
Okay.
myself, I don't even know what I was paying myself, like the bare minimum at the time, between the photography
Yeah. Yeah.
and the PR. I don't think I was taking home
Yeah.
much. I still don't. I'm still like, what can I spend on the business to make it bigger?
You're still
Yeah.
growing it. You're reinvesting in the
Yeah.
business.
I'm
Right.
still, I think, at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
30% number. I review it, and it does generally work out. And honestly, if I'm short of that,
Mhm.
I'll find something to spend it on. That's the mindset I'm in right now with marketing. I think there is going to be time for me to pay myself the big bucks. I think that in year 2 of my business being official, this is just what I need to do to grow more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so what I'm hearing, first of all, to kind of clarify the answer to my question, was you had a figure of 30%
30%.
of your total
Yeah.
gross revenue that was going to go towards
Yeah.
marketing. And then you were committed to doing PR. And so if she took 20% of it or 10% of it, that was just how you're going to mix
Yeah.
the pile of money
Yeah.
around. It's no different than when a client says, I'll spend 100K on this room. Maybe it's a $2,000 sofa, maybe it's a $40,000 sofa. As long as you make the
The
whole
whole thing
thing
needs to work.
equal
Yeah.
100K, everybody's
That's it.
fine. Yeah. Totally get it.
That's it.
Totally get it. And then you're unusual in the design industry to invest any money in marketing, let alone that
Are you
amount of money in
serious?
marketing.
That's wild.
Um, yeah, no. I mean, look, there's 1,000 people are going to write me an email and say, "Oh, I invested in my marketing." I'm like, please, you can keep your emails. And I love when you email, I really
Yeah.
do. But the point is that I guess what it is, let me be clear. If you understand the power of marketing, and to your point, you've made the commitment to invest a percentage of your gross into it, you're not actually the ones who are coming up to me asking me how to build your pipeline.
Mhm.
That's really the
Yep.
clarity. The ones that are usually coming up and asking me how to build their pipeline, when I say, what are you doing with marketing? It's like, well, I post on Instagram. Sweetie, that's not
No.
marketing. like it might be if you hire somebody like Darla Powell and Wingnut Social and you actually invest in a marketing strategy. But 10 o'clock at night after we put the kids to bed, posting up the picture and doing some commenting, that is not
No.
marketing. And I'm not saying you all have to invest in marketing, but to your point, Hema, if you want to come out of the gate going and get going, then this is one of the absolute non-negotiable
It's a
criteria, right?
non-negotiable. I mean, I'll say it for you. Like, if you're telling me you're investing $0 in marketing, then and you're just relying on word of mouth, maybe then maybe you've just been doing it way longer than me. I don't know. I think the world is different
Right, right.
now. Like the
Yeah,
things that maybe used to work 20 years ago, I don't think they work anymore in interior design.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and what it is it's the thing about doing that and relying on word of mouth and referrals is that you cannot build the consistency where you can say, oh, this year I'm going to write myself a $150,000
Right.
check for working for my own
Right.
business. Like you're just at the whim and the will of your, network to let the world know about you.
By the way,
Like,
I
you
do
know what I'm
spend money
saying?
on that
So,
channel too, like the referral channel. I send gifts.
sure.
I send like
Sure.
throw money at that channel too, actually, because it still is. I
That's
get a lot
right.
of business from word of mouth still, so I'm not going to
That's right.
ignore it.
Oh, it's absolutely one of the streams of
Yeah,
marketing. No thousand, no 1000%. It's like you do have to look at like, what are we going to invest in referral and repeat marketing? What are we going to invest in bringing in new? What are we going to invest in partner
yeah,
marketing with collaborators and brands and other trades and so forth? Like it's all the different
yeah,
places, right? That you slice it up.
exactly.
And to your point, photography and
Yes,
PR are in that pot.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and it's I know your 30% number is a high number as my 4 decades experience, Vinny's experience on top of that.
Hmm.
That's a
It
high
is a high
number.
number.
Um it is a high number. And I think that, most people 10 to 15% is on the high side. And when you're well established, 5 to 8%, like, 40-year business, we can do 5 to 8%. But understand, let's not forget, the 40-year business is a $4 million
Hmm.
business. So 5% of 4 million might be the same amount of money as 20% of a $500,000 business, right?
Exactly.
Like the idea is that as the business grows, you're reducing the dollars in marketing, quote unquote, by percentage.
Yes.
But we somehow always have $150,000 budget for marketing. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
I
okay,
mean, at some point, your business is big
So
enough, and you kind of cap out. Like, how much can
yes.
marketing really cost? Like you kind of
Yeah. And
cap out.
yeah, you want to always keep the new people
Yeah.
in. What it is the pendulum
Hmm.
twists, it turns where 60% of your business is repeat and
Hmm.
referral. But if you rely on that, you will go stagnant. And
You
even
will.
as a mature business, you always have to bring it in. And to your point, Vinny went a good 18 months in Window Works when we opened it in 82 without a paycheck.
Hmm.
Like it was just like, okay, this is going, we're going to buy another, like, then you put ads in newspapers. Okay, we're buying another
That
ad. We're buying
first,
another ad. We're
it's
buying another
that's what
ad.
you do. And I did that when we became official. That first year in 2021, I was like swimming in it because I was like a one woman show, and it was like a fun thing I was doing on the side. And I was like, ooh, I'm making a lot of money. And then when I started to take it seriously in 2022,
Yeah.
uh, I that is no longer a reality. Now I have health insurance and I have
Yeah.
salaries to pay, and I
Yes.
have my own
Yes.
salary, which is like whatever the bare minimum is I could pay myself, and the marketing expense and the overhead. We have a storage, all the things. So like I'm not make the year one was great, but like when you're growing, you're not. It's not the same.
No, no. And the thing is for me is I am always fine for the business owner that has this philosophy that you have. It's like I am actively in, like what you are spending on Christina, you could be taking as your salary.
Absolutely.
That the, you're making the money, but you're making a conscious choice that this is going to pay me dividends. It's this choice to pay her is no different than your choice 10 years ago to work as an intern at no
Yeah.
charge. You are investing in your future. And so, but if you came to me in 5 more years and you're still not making a healthy salary, I'd be like, hey, ma, what's wrong over
Yeah.
there? Something's not wrong in the numbers. The thing is out of
Yeah.
whack because by 3 years, 4 years, you should be starting to like, feel good about the money you're
Hmm.
making. Now, conversely, somebody could be working very legitimately out of their home as an interior designer, have absolutely no employees, maybe have some subcontract 1099 employees for various things here and there. And maybe they're going to gross 250,000 and they're going to pay themselves 100,000 because there's no expenses and they have no desire to build it beyond them or to be an AD and like all of the hopes and
Well,
dreams
I
that you
recently
are
I
striving.
recently did a
So,
panel with a designer who operates that way. She's been in the business a long time, like over 20 years, and she's a one-woman show. And she just does like
Yeah.
5 or however many 6 projects a year that are
Yep.
big and like has no overhead and does all the ordering. I was
That's
like,
it.
"You order and track and do all the things." She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What?" But that
Right.
works for
But
her.
see, when you make a decision to do 5 clients a year, and basically whatever the biggest percentage of that project is profit to her
Absolutely.
personally, because she's right. Like, it's not me either. I would much rather have a team do all the crazy crap that I can't be bothered and pay for it. I'm always, I say it all the time. You pay time or money.
But
I'd rather pay
the other
money.
thing is the strategy. So when I spoke to Christina about the things that I wanted to do, it wasn't just get a bunch of clients. Like, I wanted the licensing
Yes,
deals.
good.
I want the TV show. I want the book. I want all the things that come with being a respected person in the business. So I could be doing great work and have a design studio where nobody knows me and I just do great work and that's enough. But this is my third
Right.
service business that I've done, my third career where it's one-on-one. And that's not
Yeah.
what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. It's very difficult. Of the 3 careers I've done, interior design is the hardest. And the
Yeah.
one-on-one
Oh,
client service thing I find very difficult. And it's something that I I don't necessarily want to do for the rest of my life solely, only. So I
right.
wanted to do other
Right.
streams, and I knew that, I had to become a persona out there and have a reputation, build a reputation in order to get the ruggable licensing deal or whatever, all these other things that I've been lucky enough to do.
And so tell me about that. What license you've already have
Yeah.
licensing deals and different
Yeah.
things happening. Tell me about
Well,
them.
I was asked to be part of a collection last year with Arc Digest and the other New American Voices. I was a New American Voice last year, and they did a collection with Ruggable, and each of us designed 2 rugs. Um,
Mm,
so that was sort of like, but I had done some social media stuff. That was my first big licensing thing, and we're working on others now. But that that stemmed from, okay, so let's look at the sequence of events. I get PR. She pushes a project out to AD. They run it in print. My work then gets on their radar. Then immediately after, they're like, "We're going to name you a New American Voice. We can't wait to see what else you do." So last year, I was in the magazine twice. First for the project that
wow.
got published, and then second as a New American Voice. And then later, that year, early 2023, say all around the same time, they were like, "And we're doing this ruggable collection in recognition of this year's New American Voices." So it all just happened, boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
Would they care or know who I was without PR? No,
Nope.
they wouldn't.
Nope. Nope. No. No. And see, that is the illumination of that whole thing. And so many designers I know have aspirations for a lot of these same things that you have, Hema, and they unfortunately think that you're just going to get tapped. Somebody's going to say, "Wow, happen to see that thing on Instagram and you look amazing,"
No,
and it's not that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't usually happen that
not
way.
with the print magazines. And same, I did the House Beautiful Show House last year. That was another introduction that Christina made. It's like, there's so much that goes into it. It's like knowing, I imagine for her, it's like, I have this client. I know her body of work. I know her goals. I know everybody in the interior design landscape. How can I match make? What are the valuable
Yes. Yes.
relationships I can
Where
create
does it
here? Where
align?
can I create
Right.
alignment so that everybody makes money and everybody like grows and everybody gets what they want? Do you know how much
Yes.
goes into
Yes.
that? And even now, when I think about a project, I get a new project in and I understand where the client wants to go. I decide, is this going to be a project we try to publish? If so, what are some brands that I should be using or design, products that I should be using that are going to get me in this magazine? Does this aesthetic fit with this magazine? Like, even I'm now thinking of it consciously.
Wow.
Again, this is training from styling. It's not like I sit here and study. It's just a natural thing that I do, because when you're styling a celebrity, it's like, okay, you're building their persona. What brands do we want to see them in? Who's going to lend to us? Whatever. It's just a way that I think about, um, again, marketing and PR, except this time it's my own work and not some celebrity, but it's the same mentality, right? Like, I would very candidly say to anybody who asks me, if you want to get published in a specific magazine, are you aware of what they're already publishing and their
Mm,
advertisers and not to say that you need to design with like specific advertisers, but like if you can throw it in there and it makes sense, freaking
right,
do it, like
right.
don't go to World Market and think that House Beautiful is going to be like, this is gorgeous, even if it is.
Even if it is, I hear what you're saying. Even if it is, right, 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 right. It's and the thing is, it goes back to, to the strategy, the
Yeah.
why, right? It's both are valid.
Yeah.
Designing something with home market,
Absolutely.
world
I'll
home market
throw
in
some
it that
World
comes out
Market
great is
in.
valid.
Listen, I will throw it
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
but I
exactly.
got to throw it in with
Yeah,
some
yeah,
Sanderson or some, whatever, like even paint
right,
brands. Can I throw the, home goods in with accessories in with the Farrow and Ball? Like, you've got to think about what these magazines or whatever that you're trying to get published in, what are they already looking for? Like what elevates a
right,
project for
right.
them? What's their aesthetic, you know?
Right. And I don't know, and I don't think really, and you can correct me, but I don't think what you're saying is that a publication is like, oh, she's got Farrow and Ball and she's got Sanderson, and there are advertisers, so that gives her a leg
Not at
up.
all.
I don't think that's what you're
No.
saying. And correct me. I think what you're saying is these advertisers resonate with our
Yes.
audience. They are consistently successful in our
Yeah.
magazine, so therefore, our magazine viewers and readers are also going to resonate when it's in the project, not just
Yes.
on the advertisement page. Correct? Right.
Absolutely. And by the way, my project that actually got published in AD, we did use like Farrow and Ball paint, but like there was a celebrity attached to that project. So, you
Ah,
know,
see, that's the
that's the
other
other
nudgy
piece
thing.
is
Yeah.
like, if you don't have that,
Yeah.
do you have the celebrity thing? And I've actually talked to the AD editors about if AD is your thing or whatever. Like, there's a formula that every single magazine has in terms of what they're looking for in their projects. And it changes over the years, right? Um, but right
Yeah.
now, like each magazine is on a trajectory. And if you don't know what that is, or if your designs don't really speak to that, like I don't know if
Mhm.
you're going to have luck getting published as easily.
Right. Right.
They're
Right.
looking for a story. Like I sat down with, who was I talking to? I think it was Caitlin Peterson of Business at Home, one of the editors, and they were basically
Hmm.
like saying, we're not just looking for pretty projects, we're looking for projects that have a story behind them. So it's not even just like a
Sure.
beautiful image, which there are a lot of out there, but like
Right.
what's the story behind this project? There's so much that goes into it.
Right.
And if you as a designer sit there and honestly ask yourself, does this project hit all these marks? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd really even feel like, okay, maybe it's not right for this publication. That's what your PR person
Yeah.
does. And they're the ones who are going to tell
Right.
you.
Right. Right. That's right. And the thing is, what's interesting is, all of the PR reps have multiple design clients, particularly, obviously, and when they specialize in the design industry. And they're doing that
Hmm.
sifting, Hema over here with this project for this
Yes.
place, as opposed to just like, dumb pitches that don't make any sense to the publication. I don't know anything about those. I don't
No,
know why I'm
you've
saying
never
that.
gotten one of those. I have heard of designers who will just like get new pictures and just like blast it out to every single editor. And I'm not sure that
Mm,
that's a good strategy. Like that to me just
no,
shows
I'm sure that
you're
it's not.
desperate, right? Like everybody's
Yeah.
like, these editors will see it and they're like, this is just not even relevant to my publication.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's true. There's fewer things that can upset a professional who invests their time in creating a platform, whether it's a magazine, a podcast, whatever it is, and really hones the brand and the point of view, and somebody pitches it completely off brand
It's
and
a
off
waste of
point of view.
everyone's
And
time.
but Well, and the thing is, and it always comes with and we love your XYZ podcast or magazine so much, and we love what you're doing over
Yeah.
there. And then it comes with something that has nothing to do with you're doing. So it's like a double, you've got to be kidding me moment.
Mhm.
And I know that the editors of magazines are in this position
Same.
often. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we don't publish this kind of work. Like, what are you doing? Don't tell me how much you love my magazine. And then, to me, it's akin to going on a job interview
Yeah. And not
and
knowing anything
absolutely
about the
having done
company.
no
Yeah.
research. Yes.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, why do you want to work here? Well, I don't know. I don't have any money. Great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
I need this job.
I love the question. Yeah, yeah. It's like every single person, I interview, I do a lot of interviewing over at WindowWorks. It's one of the few responsibilities that I still have over there is the interview process.
Mhm.
And because I don't know, I'm good at
Yeah.
interviewing, right?
You might be.
And it might
Might
be,
be.
right? And, I ask every single person, I don't care if it's a 22-year-old guy that wants to be an installer for our company. I say, why do you want to work at WindowWorks? And the thing is, do I have as high a bar for the 22-year-old kid that just wants to get on a ladder and make a few bucks versus a 15-year, maybe seasoned window treatment sales professional? No, it's like what's that called? A gliding
A
scale? What's
sliding
that
scale.
kind of
Yeah.
scale called? Sliding scale, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the very least, that 22-year-old kid, he's got to say something to me that's specific about
Yeah.
WindowWorks. I don't care how stunot it is. I've had kids look at me and go, oh, well, I was reading your website and you guys have been in business for like 40 years and, that feels like a good place to work. And the thing is, that is not exactly the reason to work here, but it's like, okay,
It's not bad.
you
I like
read
that
the
answer.
website.
It's like what
Yes.
they're not saying is you look like you know what you're doing and I want to work at a place that knows what they're doing. Kind of,
Yeah, but I mean, my point is all you have to tell you
Tell me
any answer
something.
that
Yeah.
I can
Mhm.
ascertain.
You
Yeah,
know something.
that you have looked into this a little bit.
Mhm.
And then you take it all the way to a PR professional or an interior design professional that is going to an entity like Better Homes or AD or whatever. And you don't do that basic level of research to understand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to forgive a 22-year-old kid. I'm not going to forgive a professional interior designer for doing a pitch that's completely off brand.
Yeah.
You automatically, in my mind, go to a category of, no idea what you're
No
doing.
idea. And
That's,
and
yeah.
I don't know, maybe I wonder even if some designers even recognize the different aesthetics that these magazines have. Like that would be step one for me, especially if you're a younger designer and trying to figure out your style or
Yes.
like your aesthetic or whatever is like, can you even tell the difference between an Elle decor
Yes,
and an
yes,
AD,
yes.
because it's
Yes.
it's a big difference. Do you know what it
Yeah.
is? Do you know where you fit?
Right.
This is stuff you
Right.
need to know
Right.
about yourself
Right.
and your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Before I let you go, are there any other remaining thoughts, lessons, to share about this experience of, really what my mind is it's an intention from the beginning to strategize that, yes, I want to be in TV. I want to have licensing deals. I want to, be an AD. I want to that's it. Day one, this is what I want to
Yeah.
do. Any other thoughts or lessons regarding that come to mind, Hema?
I just think that maybe I think you need to get a little when you're starting your business or when you're in a building phase, you need to get comfortable with making less money. And I think that's really difficult for people, but like in the building stages of your business, I just want to say like you're not going to be rich. The riches will come. By the way, I like tell myself this every night as I'm, like shit, I really wish I could pay myself a lot
They will
more.
come. They're coming. They're coming.
But it's a long game and and by the way, it's wild that I'm having this conversation with you about marketing and PR because I knew nothing about marketing PR. I did not go to school for marketing and PR. It's just something that and now you're asking me my thoughts on it, which is like actually insane. But it is something that you can learn and that you can get comfortable with. But like above all, hire the help and get comfortable with making a little less for now. That's my parting thought.
Yeah. Well, with the caveat that we're investing it in the
Yeah.
business. It's not, here's the caveat, the distinction I want to say to what you're saying. Your business is earning money. You're choosing to invest it in reinvesting and building the business as opposed to taking it in salary. See, that's a very different, and I know that you're not experiencing it, so you are missing the nuance there. What I run into all the time is designers 1, 2, 5, 10 years later that are not making money and they're not paying themselves, but it's not because they're investing 6 figures in marketing. It's because they're actually not pricing
correctly,
and making profit and making margins. And so your clarification is that be willing and understand that if you want to grow a business to a certain level, you are going to exchange the money that it makes often in the beginning for investing in its growth as opposed to putting in your pocket.
Yes, and by the way,
right?
I will say that every single notch that you have, whether it's like, New American Voices, AD, House Beautiful, whatever it is, that allows you to charge more. Like you absolutely
Yes.
charge more. So it all feeds each other. So like take the pay cut now to get in the thing, and then you raise the rates and then you make more money. That's how it works.
I love it. Awesome. Oh my goodness. You're going to be somebody like in 5 years. We're going to have to do this
I
again
hope so.
because I'm going to, here's the
I might
show
be
and here's the
broke.
thing and all this
Listen,
stuff.
you might be like, okay, it's time to spend less on marketing now. Like it's time. You're good.
No, you're a smart lady. I'm sure you're going to do it right and do it well. And it'll be fun to watch you as your star rises. So thanks so much for joining me today, Hema.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
When you are in a career, sometimes you look around and think, am I happy? Is this what I want to do? It's important to know that it is okay to let go of it and to really go after what's the passion that you've got in your gut, right? Just like Hema did, going from an attorney to the fashion industry. Inspired by the book, The Surrender Experiment, Hema had her surrender moment when she was asked to design her first house. She learned she had a knack for design that she wasn't even aware was smoldering under there. And of course, everything changed from there. What she gained from having 2 professional careers before entering design, and you know what I'm going to say, are those years of her Erica Ward transferable skills. Right? Now, just digress here. Talking about Erica, did you see that we recently announced that Erica's was one of the top 5 most listened to episodes in all of 2018? We are on the road to 1,000 episodes, my friends, July 12th, 2024, and on the way. In my weekly emails and in social media, we are counting down the top 5 most listened to episodes of every year from 2016 to 2023. So huge congrats to Erica Ward for making that list. And we will link her episode in the show notes in case you're the only person in my entire audience that hasn't heard it. All right, now back to the takeaways. If Hema had instead graduated from design school at 25, you know what? It might have still have taken her 15 years to be at the level that she has achieved in just 2 years. Because, you can never underestimate the skills that we learn along the way to doing what we love. I'm sure her professional experience in both the law and the fast world of fashion taught her how to vet PR professionals and how about the recognition of the value of having one in the first place, right? Okay? But here's the thing. She just taught it to you. So if this is a path that you'd like to take, you can pass go, collect $200 and keep on going, right? To get where you want to be in your business, sometimes you have to take leaps of faith. For Hema, it was investing in PR. Maybe it's the same for you. Maybe for you, it's hiring a project manager, right? Maybe that's the next thing in your business. It would just free you up. You could sell more projects, do more of the CEOing if you had somebody do more of the project managing. The thing is, a lot of times it comes down to trusting your gut, right? Knowing. Now, there's ways to put data behind it. There's way to do things. This is why we have the Power Talk Friday tour. This is why we have LuAnn University. This is why I do all the things, okay? But gathering all the information is part of it. Following your gut, your inside voice, is the other part of it, okay? Now, Hema aggressively invested in her marketing. She understands it takes money to make the business grow. You can do it slowly, or you can supercharge it like she did. You need to evaluate your tolerance for risk as well as your tolerance for patience. It's There's no right or wrong way, my friend, in doing this. But do what feels right, but do something, right? Don't look at what somebody else does, think you have to do it, and like the world is going to end because you can't do that. Do you, all right? Take action. Do what it feels right in your business. If you need experts, if you need professionals, you need outsourcing, then, make a plan and get it. Or if you want to build your business slowly, by yourself, step by step, piece by piece, within the time and space that you have allotted to do it, that's okay too. It is. It's a long, long life having a business. Do it the way you want. All right? Now, if you like the idea of getting some press, but you're not ready to commit financially on a PR rep, I do encourage you to go listen to the episodes with Amy Fleury. She was on the podcast episode 108 and 323. Amy has 2 decades of editorial experience for publishing like Home Design and Decor and Better Homes and Gardens and others, tons of others. She poured her years of knowledge of pitching publications and gaining press into her book, Recipe for Press Designer Edition. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you prefer to do it the DIY way, slowly, measured, on your own terms. Okay? We'll link the book of Amy's book and the episodes in the show notes. Now, if you are all ready for a PR rep, you want to do it, you're thinking like, yep, I want to make this financial investment. Well, we created a checklist based on Hema's advice on how to find a PR person like Christina. Grab your goodie by going to LuAnnNigara.com/goodies. Okay. We will also link Christina's company in the show notes. So, be prepared, Christina. Just saying. Now, on this road to 1,000, on July 12th, we will hit the milestone 1,000th episode, and Jude Charles will be interviewing me for this event. Jude is the insanely talented documentarian, that's a word there for you, documentarian who created my docuseries. If you have not seen it yet, please go watch it. It's very special what we have created together, you and I, these last 8.5 years. We'll link that in the show notes as well. All right. So here's the thing. I am insanely grateful for you. I am so grateful that you have come here to listen to the show. You have come here to be on the show. You have shared your insights. You have joined me at live events, right? We're doing this together. We're doing this together. We're trying to make your business better. We're trying to make it more profitable. We're trying to make it fit your lifestyle. We're trying to make you smile, right? So this road to 1,000 is pretty cool, and I'm really grateful for your part in getting us here. Okay, Hema, thank you. Your resume is impressive. From your past careers as an attorney and a celebrity stylist to everything you've already accomplished in your current one as an interior designer. High five to you, lady. Thank you for joining me today. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.